Are authentic, real texts and audios designed for consumption by native speakers better for improving your English speaking as an intermediate to advanced English learner than materials designed for intermediate to advanced English learners? Wow, that was a mouthful. Hello, I'm Julian Northbrook from doingenglish.com, here to help you, the intermediate to advanced English learner, master the English language and speak it extraordinarily well in daily life, business, and whatever situation it is that you happen to be using English. Let's talk a little bit about the materials that you use to study and improve your English speaking. A very common question that I get is authentic, real samples of language, texts and audios or whatever it happens to be, that are designed for use or consumption by native speakers better for the intermediate to advanced English learner to improve their English than materials designed specifically for English learners? Okay, so this is a good question, and the simple answer to this is yes, but also no. First off, what you've got to kind of understand here is that when designed well, when designed properly, materials designed for the English learner to use and study to improve their English are just as good, just as real, just as authentic as any other sample of English, whether it's designed to be consumed by native speakers or not. The only difference is whether it's been designed to be consumed by native speakers or not, or whether it's been designed as something to study for the English learner. The problem, of course, is that most people have been exposed to bad, poorly designed, crap materials, and this kind of makes them think that all materials tend to be crap. More on that in a second. Authentic texts and audios, samples of language, whatever they are, tend to be better than English learning materials when it comes to learning what I call Type 2 language. And by that I mean very specific vocabulary, phrases and expressions and chunks of language that are used in very, very specific areas and topics and things that you might talk about. If you're not too sure what this is and what the difference between Type 1, Type 2 and Type 3 language is, I recommend that you check my book Master English Fast, link in the description, or head over to masterenglishfast.com, where I talk about this in a lot of detail. Really, we can't go into detail about the difference between all these 3 different types of language here in this simple video. This said, again, when designed properly, materials designed for English learners are just as real, just as authentic as anything else. As I already mentioned, the problem is that most people have, at some point in their lives, been exposed to really badly designed materials. Strange, stilted, awkward, unnatural sounding dialogues and texts that just sound bizarre because, you know, whoever designed it had a vocabulary list and they've tried to just pack as much of that vocabulary into a single story, or even worse, into a few short example sentences as possible, and what they've ended up with is really strange sounding language that isn't actually representative of how those words and phrases and expressions and things are actually used at all. This is bad. This is not good at all, because what you're actually doing when you study badly designed materials that are stilted and inauthentic and sound unnatural and strange is putting strange, unnatural language into your head, and the data that you're putting in your head is then messing up your perception of what is natural and what is not, and just confusing you more than any benefit that you're actually getting from them. I've done research on this. I did a series of research projects based around the textbooks that Japanese junior high school students use. And I know here I'm talking to people who are already at the intermediate to advanced stage, and this research was based on beginners, but the reason I studied these people and these textbooks in particular is because they tend to be the first materials that Japanese students will ever study, and therefore it really forms the base of their English, so it's a really good area to research. One of the projects that I did, one of the studies that I did, asked Japanese university students to look at phrases and expressions, chunks of language that I showed to them, and to judge how natural, how common, how frequent they thought they were in native speaker language. And what I did is I designed this study so that it included samples from these textbooks as well. And the result was quite disturbing in that the items that they believed to be the most natural actually didn't come from native speaker language at all. They came from these textbooks, and they actually weren't judged to be natural by actual native speakers. Meaning that for the students that I studied, at least, their perception of what is natural and what is not in English was actually quite messed up by the original data that they put in their head, the textbooks. So in this sense, yes, 100%. If it's a choice between authentic, real materials designed for native speakers and badly designed materials that really are not representative of how English is actually used, then 100%. Throw those materials away and go with the real ones designed for native speakers. But know this, there is a big, big downside to authentic, real text and audios. Like I said, they tend to be good for learning type 2 language. But when it comes to learning the all-important type 1 language, the super common, super high frequency, super high utility phrases and expressions and chunks of everyday conversational language, whether it be in day-to-day social situations, in business situations or what have you, real authentic texts and audios designed to be consumed by native speakers for whatever reason it is that they are consuming them, tend to be pretty ineffective for the English learner trying to improve their speaking. And this is quite simply because those authentic real texts and audios are not optimized for the needs of the language learner. Simply put, for you, the English learner, to get all the common phrases and expressions that you're going to need for day-to-day conversation, small talk, chit-chat, or wherever it is that you're using English, you're going to need an absolute ton of this real authentic text and audio to be able to get the same result as you'll get from a well-designed, optimized material for English learners. Take a film, for instance. I mean, one film will have lots of great language that you can study and learn and acquire and use yourself, but a film is 2 hours long. And don't just think that you're going to be able to take that 2-hour film, watch it once, and get all of that language in your head, internalized, hard code it in long-term memory, make it your own, and then be able to use it yourself in your own conversations. Because you won't. That's not how language learning works. Language learning is a constant, repetitive, iterative process of input, output, repeat, input, output, repeat. For you to be able to get all of the useful language out of a 2-hour film, you've got to go through that film again and again and again, constantly relearning the language contained in it, practicing it, hard coding it, internalizing it in long-term memory, and then making it your own. Doing that with a 2-hour film, you're either going to spend a long time doing it, or you're going to miss most of the stuff in it. Materials designed for language learners, on the other hand, can be highly optimized. The materials that I make for Extraordinary English Speakers, the weekly lessons that we do, are super optimized. We take real conversations, we write them into a story format, cut away all of the crap, and leave you with a single short story that can be used to learn a whole ton of language very, very quickly and effectively. The audio for these stories is about 2 to 3 minutes long. Well, compare that with a 2-hour film. you're going to learn about the same amount of language from the two of them, but which is going to be easier to repeat and to use? Obviously, it's going to be the one designed for English learners. So in conclusion then, I guess the question is really not which are better, but which are more efficient. In terms of better, real authentic materials are always going to be better than badly designed learner materials. Always, no questions asked. But that doesn't mean they are more efficient than well-designed materials for English learners, which can give you all the language that you need in day-to-day conversation, business, whatever situation it is that you are learning to speak well in, much faster and more efficiently than these authentic or real texts can. I mean, if you have nothing but time on your hands, then just go with the stuff for native speakers. If, however, time is a problem, you don't have much time to really study the English language. You know, say you've only got 30 minutes to an hour a day. Well, using real stuff for native speakers and actually studying that, it's gonna take you a long time. Whereas with materials such as the ones that I make for extraordinary English speakers and some of my other courses as well, British Stories for example, will give you all the language that you need in a very concise format. If you want to know more about mastering the English language and speaking it remarkably well, check out my book, Master English Fast, An Uncommon Guide to Speaking Extraordinary English. Simply put, it does what it says on the tin, and it will show you, the intermediate to advanced English learner, everything that you need to know to take your English as it is now and drag it up to the highest possible proficiency levels. It comes in paperback format as an Amazon Kindle book, and regardless of which one you get the complete audio version included for free. You've just got to register for the resource area listed in the back. To get more information, click on the link in the description or head over to masterenglishfast.com. Right, that's it from me, Julian Northbrook, signing off from another video. If you've got a question of your own about the language or mastering the English language, ask away in the comments. If it's an interesting question, I'll answer it in a future video. If it's boring, forgive me, but I'll probably just ignore it because I'm done with boring. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you're new, share it with your friends on Facebook, do whatever you want with it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, for another video. If you found this video informative and helpful, you're also going to want to check out this video, which talks about taking the massive task that is the English language and shows you how to break it down into small, bite-sized chunks. And then also this video, which is going to show you how to take the passive English you've already got in your head and make it automatic and fluent for your next conversation.